Hi everyone, I'm Jessie Krellick, and this screencast is for my New Media Projects class. It is a review of the changes I made for my Scratch program, which was called Mouse. To give you an overview of the changes that I made, we're going to play through the game. Okay. So just like before, you start out on a black screen. And it's the same principle, you just have to navigate through. However, to add some more challenge, whenever we began our revision, I added some fruit. But as you can see in my previous video, or if you've checked it out, there wasn't a lot of motivation to grab the fruit because there was a lot of different food that you could pick up. So now it's one piece of fruit and then 2 pieces on the next level and 3 on the next level and so forth. To promote your points, because that's the only way you can get points is if you pick up those extra food. Well, you still get points if you beat the level, but you get extra food points if you pick up the food. There's also a little, it's not really an Easter egg, but it's a little treat. If you pick up the green apple, you also something else happens. It's like a little surprise for players. It changes screen to white because one of the big complaints I had through my usability testing was that the bats were really hard to see. So you get about 30 seconds with the white screen so you can pay attention to the way the bats navigate, and then it switches back. When you get to level 2, it gets a little bit more complicated. As you can see, some of the bats are a little bit bigger, and there's also this bat. And he's a little bit different from his buddies in that whenever you move your arrow keys, I believe it's the down arrow and the right arrow, he changes directions. So you have to pay attention to where he's going because if you move the wrong way, he could get you, because he's not on a set track. He just kind of does his own thing. The reason I added the fruit in the first place was to encourage players to navigate to other sections of the game, because otherwise I'd noticed that they really weren't trying to go, for example, way over here because there's no point. So now there's a little bit of encouragement there. So if you get through this level, there's going to be, in addition to the banana and the cherry, there'll be a third fruit as well as that little green apple. So let's see if we can get through here without dying. It'd be really good if I could beat my own game. Okay. So once you get to level 3, there's a couple more challenges in this one. There's now a larger bat that's flying around pretty rapidly. And this bat is also on its own track, and there's a cookie now. This bat poses the most trouble because I'm not entirely sure that you can navigate through this maze successfully because he's kind of blocking the way. It's all about strategic movement in this game. Let's see how far I can get. If I die, it's no big deal because I can show you guys some other goodies that I added to the game. See, I just earned 25 points just by simply picking up that that cookie. And if you pay attention, like if you're looking at the rest of the maze, the reason I added all this is because there was no reason for anybody to travel into this area if they figured out that you have to go down this route to get through the maze, because it's just a waste of time and it's an unnecessary risk. So let's see if I can actually get through this maze. I don't know that it's possible. Nope. Alright, well, that's something that I probably should revise before I upload it. To give you an idea of some of the changes that I implemented, there is the bat that was floating around there for a little bit. Let me see if I can show you a map. Okay, so I had that big bat floating around on level 2, right? And he, all of my bats are following just a white sprite, so they're just overlapping them. So to create this bat that's kind of at random, I just selected 2 arrow directions, and he basically follows your movement. So if you hit the right arrow, he's going to change direction a little bit, or if you hit the down arrow. And the same goes for the other rogue mouse. Or rogue sprite, I'm sorry. As for the point system, it just simply states that if you touch Mickey, which is my main sprite, you earn 15 points, and it hides it for a certain amount of time before it reappears in a new location. To make it more challenging and encourage players to continue through to next levels, I added cherries on the 2nd level and then the little cookies on the 3rd level. The last thing I want to show you guys is the special, which was that little green apple. So to program the screen to change, I was kind of concerned about it because the stages are set so that when you complete a level, it goes to the next stage. So I wasn't entirely sure how to program that. So what I did was I said that if it touches Mickey, it's going to broadcast light background or whatever level it's on. So like light maze 3 light. So once you have that broadcasted in there, I just added some code to the stage so that when it receives maze 3 light, it'll switch its background to the light version. So if we're on here and we find the little apple, which is I think right here normally, sorry for that, it'll switch to this mode, and it's a lot easier to see where everything is and to navigate through the maze. One final thing, during my initial, and this was like way back in the very beginning, during my initial programming, the sprite was I was having some difficulties with my sprite getting through whenever he would run into walls, he would get stuck. So I just reprogrammed it a little bit to make it a lot smoother. And this was my horribly long beginning. But that's about it, so I hope you enjoyed watching, and please stay tuned for my additional screencasts for my Inform 7 game and for my iPod application. Have a nice evening.